And we are back. And in the month of Pride, we've decided to pick Dating Amber from 2020. Not rated on IMDb, but we're going to say R for adult content, language, and I guess sexual situations.
I think all of them were listed. There's smoking and drinking and nudity
drugs.
and drugs.
Yeah. Okay, this clocks in at 1 hour and 32 minutes. This is the story of Eddie and Amber, who are trying to navigate, I guess, high school and encounter run-ins with kind of jerky people.
Well, it's set in 1995.
1995. And
back in those days, calling gay people derogatory slurs and whatnot was pretty commonplace.
Right.
Yeah, it was way.
But I don't think
it was way worse for
gay people back then.
than it is now. I mean,
absolutely.
I think that was sort of like when things started. The boat on all that stuff was starting to turn around.
Yes, but kids are still
kids are
stains.
Yeah, I mean, kids were still jerks.
And in the beginning, it seems like Amber's getting the brunt of it. And then Eddie's getting looped in, and then she comes up with this plan to help them circumvent these run-ins.
At least until
high school is over. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you. What did you think of the film?
I thought it was good.
Yeah. What'd you like about it?
I thought the two leads were both very good.
Yes.
The situation seemed... I mean, it definitely made sense, and it's. I just liked how their relationship sort of grew. I mean, you could see that Eddie is
terrified,
really deep in the closet.
Yeah,
like he does not want to admit these things to himself, and Amanda basically just says
Amber.
Oh, sorry, Amber. Amber basically.
You were watching a different movie.
Amber basically just says, "Hey, we're gay."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's
so vehemently denying it. He's like,
yes.
I'm not gay.
He doesn't come across as like the stereotypical.
No, all the straight kids are very obnoxious.
Yeah,
especially,
for sure.
Especially that main one.
Yes.
What was it called? Like Kev?
Something. Yeah, I think it was Kev.
But they're like they're making fun of him. Oh, you didn't touch her boob. It seemed like it was weird. I don't remember like things being sort of that like regimented as far as like, okay, you two are gonna, what do they call it, shifting?
Yeah.
You two are gonna go behind the building and you're gonna make out and
probably get to second base.
Probably second or third.
Yeah, depending.
Depending, and then you're gonna basically tell everybody all about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. My high school life was not like that at all. So. I mean,
I feel like at some point when kids discover sex, it sort of becomes a big deal. And
but
then you have people that are either embellishing it to make themselves more popular or because that's what they think will make them more popular. Or, I mean, the landscape of high school is just a minefield of crazy. I mean, I would never go back to that. Not for all the money in the world. Not for all the money in the world. I made some nice friends back then, but to have to go through all of that again is just, you can miss me with all that.
But anyway, overall, I enjoyed the movie.
This is, I mean, I don't know if this is considered a romantic comedy, but
I consider this more of like a friendship movie.
Like a coming of age.
A coming of age friendship movie dealing with some pretty heavy issues as far as how things were around then. I mean, it's most likely still the case now. I mean, granted, things are like I said, things have gotten better where you're not going to be ostracized or shunned by your community for just being gay.
Yeah.
Back then, especially when you're considering the environment that they were in, they were in
a very strict
Catholic Irish
community.
And you just told me that fact that 2 years prior to when this took place
is when they decriminalized.
Being gay was a criminal offense.
Right.
So yeah. A lot of people are probably set in their ways back then as far as like, if you did come out, you were either at best shunned At worst, you were getting the crap kicked out of you.
True. I was pleasantly surprised by Amber's mother's reaction. I mean, she obviously was a little in shock, but she seemed to be accepting of the daughter and of the situation when she's presented with the girlfriend, I guess. Mm-hmm. Olive G, what'd you think of the film?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, what'd you like about it?
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite character?
Maybe like Amber.
Amber. Amber was pretty cool. Oh wait, Amber's
her girlfriend.
Oh, her girlfriend Sarah. She was good too. I think Amber might be one of the MVPs in this, but okay. Yeah. Did you have a favorite scene? It's okay because it's from 2020, so we can sort of spoil it because it's a few years.
Nah, not really.
Do you remember any of this movie?
I know.
Not really.
You're rolling around on the floor quite a bit, so.
I mean,
not really. I do remember how they got like really high and like they went into that club.
Yes. That was. I don't know if that was my favorite. My favorite scene, obviously, is Eddie and the teacher in the room.
Good Lord, please stop. Please stop.
Yeah, we were all cringing, like, no.
There were a few.
Bro, why did he do that?
Most of the offenses were committed by Eddie.
Yeah.
That kid was a disaster, and he kept digging his grave deeper, and it was very, very painful to watch.
Yeah. He didn't know when to stop.
But it's like tragic. He's not. I don't know.
He's not a bad.
He's not a
person.
bad person. It's just he's
misguided.
He's in that environment.
Yeah.
It's especially sad because you see that his mother kind of knows.
Yeah.
And says, you can tell me. You can tell me anything. I love you no matter what. I don't even know if the dad would have been like lost his mind.
I think he would have been initially disappointed or whatever. But I think he genuinely loved his son, and
he loved his son. And I think he was like clueless as to what exactly was like bothering Eddie.
Yes.
I think he thought that it was the whole living up to the being a regiment guy.
Yeah.
Part of that, I guess that
most definitely clueless.
Yeah, joining the military, and he even tells him, he's like, some people aren't meant for this.
Out for this, yeah.
And
he definitely wasn't.
Well, I think the father was also in his head with his whole situation with his marriage. I think that was
they were having a tough time because he was
never
home, and I think he was like going to go away again or something.
Right.
Like at the end, he said he wasn't. So.
But was that enough? Because he has that conversation with the wife, and she's like, I don't know. I hope so.
We still got to work on this.
Yeah.
I think that's because maybe they're gonna get divorced. Honestly, they probably should end like the relationship.
I mean, they weren't. They fought a lot, but they weren't physically abusive to each other. And
no.
And it seemed like he was going to make concessions to save the marriage. So we'll see.
I mean, the fight seemed mainly about the fact that he wasn't there for 6 months out of the year or something.
Right. She mentions that in one of their little exchanges.
But that's like half the year. You still get the other half, right?
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. I mean, I would not like being away from your mother for 6 months out of the year.
And still the other half to spend with her.
It doesn't matter. It's 6 months. 6 months. It's a long
Your dad's
time.
very useful here.
Yeah, your mom's very useful too.
That's actually true. Like, what if we burn the house down? Where are we gonna
Easy. Hopefully that wouldn't happen.
Why are we talking about this now?
We're just using ourselves as an example.
Thing that's nice about some movies is you find meaning in them because of parallels within your life.
I highly doubt anyone wants to hear about us talking about this, though.
Well, you never know. Gigi, what'd you think of the film?
It was nice.
Yeah, what'd you like about it?
I like the representation. Let's go with that. Eddie was a disaster, which is what's mostly clouding my mind right now. I can't believe some of the stuff he was doing.
But I think that's born in a lot of human experience. I think even today, I think people might not be so readily accepting of what their authentic self might be, and might need kind of a steady hand, sort of like what Amber was for Eddie. I think Amber to me, she was the MVP here. She was the one that sort of made Eddie feel seen and understood, and that it was okay to be who he was. She never judged him. She was his friend no matter what.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if I was in the closet like super deep, I still wouldn't be able to be doing some of the stuff he was doing.
Yeah, no.
Well, you got to think of it this way.
Not a requirement.
In growing up in high school and anywhere you go, there's always going to be people who handle things differently, either better or worse than you might. I mean, I'm sure there are people in your school that you know who are just like a total spaz. They just seem confused or awkward or something like that. And that type of person might
kiss a teacher.
Possibly.
There
Why
you
not?
go. They don't know because they don't know. No. They are so
he was getting mixed messages,
awkward and confused and whatnot. And you placed in that situation would not feel that way. You'd be able to read the signs better than they would.
Right. Because you've had exposure to gay people. You understand what it is.
I'm not even talking about gay people or straight people. I'm talking about any situation. Some people are just better at life or just the situation that you're in or the environment you're in. And some people aren't. And when they aren't, they're going to make some pretty boneheaded mistakes. And like I said, I'm sure there are kids at your school who you're just like, oh, this kid's clueless. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. There's always somebody who's
there's always
socially inept or awkward.
Yeah. There's always been kids like that. And there always will be.
Yes, agreed.
I don't know what's going on. I heard a noise. I don't know what noise I just heard.
So I enjoyed this film a lot. In the month of Pride, I think it's great to highlight kind of what G said. Representation is important. I think that we've come a long way from where we were. I know that people in my peers weren't able to be their authentic self, which is unfortunate. And I think that it's sad, right? When a parent rejects a child because of who they are authentically and honestly. And I think that unfortunately some of that has still bled to today, but I think definitely strides have been made. I was super impressed with Amber's mother. I thought being Catholic Irish in 1990s Ireland, she would have had a different reaction to Amber coming out to her. But I think after she gets over her initial kind of shock, she's okay with it. She's accepting. I think that she thinks this is my daughter and this is who she is. So I'm just going to go with it.
I think some of that probably is due to the fact that the father killed himself.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
Does she want to lose everything?
Right.
Also, as far as like the hyper Catholic connotations, I mean, the father killed himself. If you're following the hyper Catholic connotations,
he's going to hell.
Those people, they're not going to be offering any comfort in those cases.
Yeah.
So she knows that this is my family. If I shun my daughter because of this,
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Yeah. I think she was more horrified that Sarah was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that face.
She was just like, what?
The face of horror.
Yeah. I think the film had really strong writing, really nice character arcs. I loved the ending. I loved the ending.
The ending was good.
Yeah,
I
was really
that up.
I the only thing was I thought I was hoping that the two of them would kind of go, but I think to Amber's point, like, you have to do this on your own. You can't use me as a crutch. You have to stand on your own 2 feet and do this thing and just be yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, and get on with it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You've hidden away for too long, and kind of like what she says. I mean, I think that comment about this place will kill you is very twofold in her situation. It'll kill you because when she said that, because she had mentioned that before, I wondered if maybe her father too wasn't being his authentic self and decided
I thought
to.
so too.
Yeah.
Because she said that this
thought,
place killed him.
Yeah, and that thought crossed my mind because this is a line that she says more than once in the film, and I wondered if there was like some sort of double meaning to it.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, you could definitely see something in that, interpret it that way.
Because Eddie probably would have put himself through the same thing.
Yeah.
He was going to stay there.
And just not be who he was meant to be. And that sort of, you kind of feel that in that scene with the other young man from, I guess, the cadet academy.
Yeah.
Who's working at the bar. Because he was ready to just roll over and play dead, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Eddie pleads with Amber, let's just keep doing this because this works.
And just that in that scene with the other cadet, when like I think the last line is, "And we could be happy," and like as like like he says that as a question,
right? And neither one of them looks.
You won't be.
Yeah, and neither one of them looks convinced.
You can only pretend to be happy for so long.
Right.
Eventually, your real feelings will manifest.
Yeah.
So. Never good to bury it down.
No,
like
Gumball and the truth always comes to the light at some point. So
we saw that episode of Gumball where he buries his feelings down deep and tries to
starts spitting acid.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Eventually, all that bile comes out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. It wasn't long, an hour and 32 minutes, so it's in that sweet spot. So really good writing. Really good interplay by all the characters, even the lesser characters. I thought the jerk Kev was well done. I thought Amber and Eddie were great. Their interactions too were extremely believable, extremely poignant and beautiful. I thought the relationship between the parents was interesting and seemed very much rooted in reality. I think the sort of melancholy and sort of like, how would you describe it? Amber's mother, like it's almost like she's in a fog. It like her go-to is always like, how would your how would your father?
She's living her life in a devastated manner. I mean, she has this business. She doesn't care. She has no real life outside of it.
I mean, does she do anything? I feel like she's assigned Amber the work to do, and I'm not sure what her mother does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean that was kind of sad, but really well. It came off well. Jack, the younger brother, was kind of, his character was kind of interesting because he was coming from the vantage point of save marriage at all cost.
I didn't even know he had a name.
That was his name. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to he felt sort of like an afterthought character. I don't know if he really served a purpose other than maybe like
exposition.
A couple of jokes.
Just a couple of jokes. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he really wasn't that important.
No, and not that he was important, but I felt like the actor who played him did a good job, and I feel like his scenes were well played. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go around the table and get numbers. I'm gonna start with you, G. 1 to 10.
I like this movie. I'll give it an 8.
Olive G. 1 to 10. What are you gonna give this film?
Probably an 8.
An 8. I too will give it an 8. What do you say?
I give this a 7.
A 7. Okay, 8, 7. I still think it's great. You can catch this on Tubi TV or Amazon Prime without commercials, so maybe that's the better choice here. Again, from 2020, Dating Amber, not rated, but definitely I would say R. There's language, there's sexual content, there's sexual situations, there's smoking, which I guess some people need to be alerted to.
Drinking
and drugs, absolutely.
They said nudity. I don't recall any nudity though. Do you recall? I mean, there were drawings of penises everywhere, but
yeah, there was that scene which was pretty funny.
I don't know.
I don't remember nudity either, to be honest.
I don't think you see anything.
Yeah.
Like in the sexual situation, they have the blanket over them.
Yeah. Yeah. And even when the girl's like buttoning up her shirt.
Yeah, no, she isn't like
exposed. The place where Amber is kind of renting out the trailer. Like her boobs are covered.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I'm not really sure. But anyway, again, runtime of 1 hour and 32 minutes. This is from writer-director David Freyne, Freyne. I think I said that right, but
Freyne or Freyne?
I apologize. Yeah, I think this is a great film. It's a great snapshot of Ireland in the 90s. I think it's a nice little ode to the people that lived it and a nod to younger generations about how we are where we are because of those in the past that went through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so 8887, definitely check it out. Dating Amber from 2020. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.
Good night.